Meeting of the Norton Conservation Commission. Our first hearing is a request for determination of applicability. File DET 1091, Dylan Ribeiro, 32 Stone Lane. Proposed project involves plans to replace an existing leaching area with a new leaching system within 100 feet of wetlands.
Hi.
Legal notice wetlands hearing. In accordance with the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, MGL Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended. The Mountain Conservation Commission will hold a request for a determination of applicability hearing for Rhiannon Brooks and Nick Lococo of 32 Strawstone Lane, Norton, Mass. 02766. Proposed project involves plans to repair and replace an existing septic system within 100 feet of wetlands. Public meeting will be held on Monday, November 18, 2019, at 6:30 p.m. in the second floor meeting room, Norton Municipal Center, Norton, Mass. All are invited to attend. The order of Mountain Conservation Commission, Scott Woolhead, Chairman, November 6, 2019.
That's the bill for the legals. Did you bring the check with you?
Yep.
Perfect, thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Ron.
Okay, so this is, I'm Dave O'Blander, PGO Engineering. It's pretty straightforward. Homeowners are selling their house, their septic system failed and they need a new leaching area. We propose a new leaching area in the back of the house, no closer to the wetlands than the existing leaching area. And we're keeping the existing tank. So that's about it. Any questions?
Gene?
No.
Dan? Ron? Julian? Welcome. No, I have nothing. Any questions or comments from anyone else?
Dan has a question.
Just entertain a motion to close.
Public hearing.
Close.
Ron makes a motion to close the public hearing for file DET 1091, seconded by Dan Doyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just need a,
I'll make a motion to approve -3.
okay.
Second.
Ron makes a motion to issue a -3 determination of applicability, seconded by Dan Doyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
So I didn't miss the whole meeting?
Nope, just the first one.
Am I allowed to sign it?
Yeah. I'll wait till it comes back around.
Okay, yeah.
I don't want you to get overwhelmed. No,
ourselves.
that's fine. Take your time.
I'll trade you and get Julian ready to go to work.
Okay.
I have to work with this, huh?
Yep. Okay, next hearing is a request for determination of applicability. File DET 1092, NYBS, Lions Park, Dean Street. Proposed project involves plans to remove vegetation from a parking area and ball field within 100 feet of wetlands.
In accordance with the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended. The Norton Conservation Commission will hold a request for a determination of applicability hearing for NYBS Lions Park, Dean Street, Norton, Mass. The proposed project involves plans to remove vegetation from parking area and ball field within 100 foot of wetlands. And there appears to be a notice for the ad. Looks like a total of $44. Does that sound? Oh no, 101.20.
You here to present, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
Just pull around the front.
All right.
Do you have the check for the legal notice?
I have a check. I'll write it out.
I'm sorry?
I have a check. I didn't write it out.
Okay. You can just do it before you leave, that'd be great,
All right,
thanks.
Cool. So what we're doing or want to do is...
Could you introduce yourself, please?
I'm Mike Cassoni on behalf of NYBS.
Thanks.
And that's Norton Youth Baseball and Softball. So that's the deal. And what we want to do is cut back some of the vegetation out in the outfield and along the first base side, which gets fairly close to some wetlands out there. That's more or less it. I went out and have a map, submitted the plan. You guys seen it?
Yep.
Okay. You guys have any questions?
Do we have a copy?
I have.
Of the map?
Yes, right here. Oh, no, that's not it. Do you have a map on you, or?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to take a quick look at it. It's, I assume it's within the buffer, or,
Yeah, it's within the buffer, so.
but it's vegetation that is closed in from prior clearing? Is that what's happened?
It looks like it was clear in the past, I don't know how far prior, so it's not, it's all 25 foot away.
How close to the wetland does it get? Roughly your cleared area?
The clearest we'll get is about 50 feet. Our closest we'll get is 50 feet.
May I also see that?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, it's coming over. It's coming over.
That's a different layer, I got a little kooky with the Google Maps. This area out here, just so you can see, this is what we want to take out.
Oh, okay.
That stretch. The wetlands are out here.
And what's going out there? Is it benches or?
What I do is move some of the kids warming up out there because the viewing area is on that hill. And what happens is the kids warm up and trip over brothers and sisters and all this stuff, so.
Yeah.
We would like people to watch the game out there. It's typically hard to get people from out here to watch the game.
Mhm.
Definitely just shut some people out there, get them off away from the dugouts.
Okay.
Any questions, Ron?
No.
Julian?
No?
Dan? Jean?
No.
Dan?
No.
Any questions, comments for anyone else? Okay, I'd welcome a motion to
Mr.
close.
Chairman, I move the determination 1092.
Did it close first?
Closed.
Oh, sorry.
Second.
Julian makes a motion to close the public hearing for file DET 1092, seconded by Ron. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I move the determination be a -3, that is, assuming it's carried out according to plan, no need for filing a notice of intent.
Second.
Julian makes a motion to issue a -3 determination of applicability, seconded by Dan Doyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. That's negative's good. You don't need a permit. You don't need a
I mean, I
permit.
don't have to give you the check or not?
No, you need to check.
Well, hold on a second though, before you walk away.
If you said we had a bill for $1 million and that was negative, then that's good, right?
Well,
That's all relative, yeah.
Jen's not here obviously, but she had mentioned that you guys had some costs
We do, yeah.
to do the change, and we would offset the costs to us by what you have to pay.
Right, so,
So I don't know how to do that though.
It's about $4,900 a year is what we spend in hard costs, and that includes trash removal from
Yep.
Spring Sun. That's the sandy can that's out there, and then actually the landscape cost to keep the field open itself. So we have a landscape contractor come in and mow all that stuff.
What costs do they have to us, Melissa, do you know?
I don't.
You don't know? Okay, so
At
we
this
would,
point, I don't think we have any cost to you.
Okay. so,
We
she-
looked and dug, we didn't find any.
okay.
So this is regard to the agreement for use of conservation lands, is that?
We have an agreement, yeah, this is the first year we've had one that set up. I don't know if there's a cost associated with that though. Did they say anything to you about that, signing the agreement? There's a cost to
No, we
that?
didn't sign the agreement yet. She said, come here and listen.
Unfortunately, she's not here.
Listen,
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, that's what our costs are.
right.
You know, I mean, I read the paperwork, I didn't quite.
I don't see what his cost to us would be though, that we could offset for what he already has to
Well,
pay, you know?
We don't want you to pay us to go in the basement.
Right, but I would offset whatever you had to pay us because of what your costs are. I just don't know how that works.
Yeah, I'm at a loss whether, I don't really know how.
Yeah.
Maybe we could table that.
Yeah, I think we should do that. Discuss that next time when Jen's back. Yeah, she could reach out to you just to let you know.
All right, that's good.
But as far as the permit goes, at least that part's done. And you don't have to get it, so that's good.
Excellent, yeah.
So, great.
So that is the lease of conservation land
That's,
issue?
yeah, this is the first time that they set that up, but I think we can table that till next time.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
All right,
Have a good night.
thanks.
So,
So Mike, if you can just make that out to the Sun Chronicle.
Okay. I'll write on that.
12-2. I'll wait till it gets back.
Yeah.
And we'll get the next one ready. This is
And this
153 Bay Road,
this is all
right?
paid for. so.
Okay. Okay, next hearing is a notice, do we have a file number?
It does now, yes. 250-1051.
1051?
Yeah, the revised one has it.
Okay. Our next hearing is a notice of intent for file 250-1051, George and Beverly Sudin, 153 Bay Road. Proposed project is to demolish existing home and clear selective trees to construct new single-family home with new septic system within 100 feet of bordering vegetated wetland.
In accordance with the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended, the Norton Conservation Commission will hold a notice of intent hearing for George and Beverly Swadden of 153 Bay Road, Norton, Mass. The proposed project is to demolish existing home and clear selected trees to construct new single-family home with new septic system within 100 foot of bordering vegetated wetland.
I'm Ray Francisco, I'm the engineer, representing George and Beverly. I do have an updated plan.
Oh, you do?
I can pass out. I made a few,
Okay.
just a few minor changes.
Sure.
based on the input from,
Thanks.
I'm not putting on board for too long, I apologize, but, so, as mentioned, it's the construction of a new single-family home with garage, on-site septic system. The wetlands are actually off-site on existing conservation land. However, the 100-foot buffer zone does come into the property. None of the soil disturbance is within the 100-foot buffer zone. All the work for the home, for the septic system, all the grading is outside the buffer zone. However, there are trees and grasses, some dead trees and brush and grasses that they want to maintain up to the edge of the property line. And that work does take place inside the 100-foot buffer zone. It does fall within a priority habitat area, so we did file with a visa filing, and that did come back, but they are requesting a turtle prevention plan, a turtle plan for the project, which we're in the process of securing a consultant to draft that up for us. I did get some comments from the director, some written comments, if you like, I just go through them.
Yeah, sure, that'd be great.
We originally had in our table up here for buffer zone disturbance, no disturbance in this buffer zone. That was based on soil disturbance, but
Right.
We did amend that to include 14,150 square feet for clearing of the dead trees and
Okay,
brush.
sure.
She had a number of edits to the sediment plan and the O&M plan for the Cultec unit. And so we've made those adjustments, and I have revised copies I can leave with you.
Okay, great.
As well. She asked for a revision to the compost sock detail, silt fence detail. The typical detail had the stakes going through the sock. She asked that they be placed adjacent to us, so they're placed
Yep, I see that.
adjacent to on the downstream side.
Okay.
We had a construction exit detail. There's an existing driveway there now. We're pretty much using that same entrance, so we put a stone construction exit there as well. She did note that a SWIP is required, so we're in the process
Sure.
of preparing the SWIP.
Okay.
And she did mention the 25-foot no-touch, the requirement for a fence and
Right.
signage there. We did put in our cover letter, we're asking for relief on that. The 25-foot no-touch runs about 2 to 3 feet from the edge of the property line. And it doesn't show up on the plan, but there is a stone wall, there's an existing stone wall along the property line. So we were just going to ask for relief, so we don't have to put up the fence. Right at,
So the stone wall's at that
all-
25-foot no-touch barrier?
No, the stone wall is right along the property line.
Oh, it's back here?
It's right,
okay.
yeah, it's right here
I
along the
see.
property line.
Okay.
And then the wetlands are back here.
Right.
So, I mean, the stone wall provides a physical barrier.
Right.
If you'd like me to put the signs up.
Yeah, sign I think would be a good idea. We can talk about that.
But just prefer not to put the rail.
Sure.
That's fine.
Okay.
And you're clearing completely from the 100-foot up to the 25-foot?
Up to the 25 foot. They're clearing dead trees. There's some brush and vegetation
So the
vegetation. There's not a lot there, but
The intention is just to be grass right up the
yes,
river.
that's correct. And existing trees that are, there's some donuts that have to be done.
I see. How many existing trees are there?
There's probably about 20, 25 trees that we're keeping every live tree there is.
I see.
Yeah, and if you want to, we marked all of the trees that we're keeping
Mhm.
because it's easier for me because I love them. So I
Sure.
just wrapped the trees and said, don't touch.
Okay.
So everything else is whatever was dead or rotted or leaning,
Sure.
that would cause harm to the kids that we would like to take down. But there's a lot of trees that we like the shade. We
Okay.
want to keep it as close to conservation as we can. We like the privacy.
Are you Beverly?
I
Oh,
am.
you're for the record. Okay,
I'm
thank you.
Beverly, I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. Also, she wanted to ask about the O&M plan for the Caltech system. Do you
Yes,
have?
revised as well.
Oh, it is? Okay, good. Let's see. SWIP. Construction, exit zone detail. And the sediment control notes, you got those as well?
So yeah, here, these are the edits, pretty much,
Okay.
everything she had asked for, we incorporated.
Yeah, I saw these actually earlier.
O&M.
Yep,
Thank you.
perfect. Do you want to see that?
Yeah.
Did see
whatever
those
you got.
earlier. She must have replied to this before, after she sent the notes to us, because I did see a lot of the stuff in here that you had already added, after she had added it, so it's good.
Oh, okay.
So I don't need to ask them.
Okay, great.
That's done, compost stock is
This
done.
was online, is that correct?
What's that?
These were online?
Yeah,
That's the-
exactly, they were all, everything was added after. She must have done this and then responded to you, and then
Okay.
you replied after that, so that's fine. So I think we addressed everything she had. Do you have any questions, Ron?
No.
Julian?
I'm all set.
Dan?
No answer.
Jean?
No.
Dan?
I do not.
Any other questions or comments from anyone else? Yes, sir.
Yep. Hi, my name's Jim Collier. I'm the abutter at 151 Bay Road.
Okay.
Hi, I'm your neighbor.
Nice to meet
How you
you.
doing? Nice to meet you. I've been there 38 years, just my wife and I are there, and I'm just come down to voice concern about the wetlands, the wildlife, the forest, and, but mainly my well. I just want to make sure, I don't know what the board has to say about a well. I just want to be sure that our well water, and your well water too, is safe from whatever goes on.
Yeah, the Board of Health will cover that, however, I can show you real quickly.
Yeah, my well is.
I believe this is
Stormwater.
your well right there. There's your
Yep.
home, there's your existing septic system. They put in a new well here for this new house.
Yep.
And then the new septic system is over here on the other side of
Okay.
other side of the property.
All right, and there's a swimming pool and a storage building going in?
Proposed pool here and a shed here, yep.
Okay. Now, there's no detriment to the well from the...
No, it's outside the 100-foot, the pool's outside the 100-foot buffer of the
Okay.
well already.
All right, great. Thank you.
What's the water table in that area?
Let me see.
Do you have to de-water to put the pool in?
They may have to, well, the water's at 100 inches.
Oh, wow. Okay. Any other questions from anyone? Comments? Okay, I'll look at motions to close.
So, actually, is this a motion to close?
Actually, you're right, we have to talk about the response for NHESP, right, for the turtles? Did they?
Yeah,
So that, we can't close till we get that back, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
yeah.
But also, I think Jennifer has to review the revisions. And,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So it sounds like a continuation, and it may be just everything's all set and closed at that time.
Sure. No problem.
So you're welcome to come back on December 2nd is our next meeting. Does
Okay.
that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I move the hearing for file number 250-1051 be continued until December 2nd.
Second.
Julie makes a motion to continue the public hearing for file 250-1051
Yes.
to the December 2nd meeting, seconded by Dan Pearson. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Large and not
Yeah.
loaded, so you know what you want to do. Okay, thank you for catching me. I was all ready to close. I was in the rhythm from the last three. All right, here we go. Our next hearing is a notice of intent for file 250-1037, Next Grid LLC, 54 Plain Street, continued from the October 28th meeting for proposed plans to install a ground-mounted solar array, driveway, stormwater utilities within 100 feet of wetlands in the Canoe River area of critical environmental concern.
I don't see him here.
Are they here? I know, huh?
And that's the question.
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Well, I guess you came for nothing.
Well, I think he was gonna be here, because I heard from him earlier today, email.
Maybe we'll just kick it back in a little while.
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes, we'll try again if you get here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's basically ready to
Yeah, that's what Jen said.
close in condition. I don't know what happened to him.
All right.
But that's the question, do they actually need to be here to respond to anything in particular, although there are some items.
If they were planning on coming, though.
Stormwater plan and the.
I can
chain
discuss it
link
if you want, and go over what,
I'd rather do it at once, but,
Well, how about if
I mean,
we go forward with the remaining?
yeah, you might hang around for like 15 minutes?
yeah, no,
And
no
then we'll
problem.
just-
And if he
if they don't
doesn't
come by
show up,
then,
I
we'll
can
just
kind
close
of
it,
go
yeah.
through what
Okay.
we discussed and what's in my letter. It sounds worse than it actually is,
Okay,
which is,
sounds good. So the discussion on the DEP amendment, they had to come in and discuss that, right, Melissa? Because it's
Yeah,
retaining
I have
wall.
nothing on, I have their folder,
mean-
but I,
We have to decide if it's a large enough scope of a project to issue a revised permit, but we don't know what the size is because no one's here to explain it. So we'll skip that one too for now, I guess, right?
I don't remember this.
It's new. It was the Fernandez property,
yeah.
with the one where they sublet a whole bunch of it and they built a house for one of the kids and
Yeah, but what was the new,
that's the thing, I don't know. They're adding a retaining wall, but I don't know.
but with presumably within the jurisdiction area?
That's what I don't know. And I don't know how large or how much impact it's gonna be or anything. So I say we just hold off for now, since they're not here anyway. Okay.
That's whether the animals can get out.
You talking about for the solar array?
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no. Well, for 10, sorry, no, the previous one.
Yeah, that's a concern that we have to discuss as well, but we're gonna push that for now. And the Bernie and Phil's, so you thought they were gonna continue and,
Jen thought they were gonna continue.
but they never
so-
actually continued, right?
They might have to her, I don't have her email.
So, what do you do with that one?
Do we continue
Do we
to the
continue?
December 2nd?
Continue to,
All right, I'll want to call a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to continue, notice of intent number 250-1040 to December 2nd.
Second.
Ron makes a motion to continue the public hearing for file 250-1040 to the December 2nd meeting, seconded by Julian. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And we got two more continuations, man, we'll do now.
I move 250-1030 be continued to 10-2, to 12-2.
Second.
Julian makes a motion to continue the public hearing for file 250-1030 to the December 2nd meeting, seconded by Dan Pearson. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
I move file number 250-1032 be continued to 12-2.
Second.
Julian makes a motion to continue the public hearing for file 250-1032 to the December 2nd meeting, seconded by Dan Pearson. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
You can
All
do
right,
this.
we have a new one, a request for, is it partial or full?
A full.
A full COC for DET 427 Sylvia Markley, 8 Agaritza Lane. Proposed project involves the construction of a 32 by 32 addition, new sanitary disposal system, and yard grading with a 100-foot buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland. And Jen said it was okay to issue.
It was a COC that was issued about 10 years ago, and it was never filed at the registry, and now they're looking to sell the
So
property.
it was 250 which?
It's a DET number.
DET 427.
So it's a determination.
Yes.
Right.
427, well, I'll move that we issue the certificate of compliance.
Second.
Julian makes a motion to issue a full COC to file DET 427, seconded by Ron. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, that's done. We'll see if anybody's outside.
Thank you.
No, out there. You might as well just
Want me just to
go through it. Yeah,
go through and now
straightforward.
explain
We
what
can just
the-
approve it without them being here.
Yeah, I think, he was gonna bring stuff and drop it off, but I don't know.
So is this the site that where there was work started?
Yes,
Stopped?
yes, a lot of work, a lot of tree clearing,
Okay.
and that came.
I mean, I don't have any plans or anything, but basically, as far as the issues go, sort of going through it, I'm sort of sit through my letter, and I did discuss, he called me and discussed some of my comments that Chris King. So the first thing on page 4, whatever we have to or whatever, my question was, they have stormwater basins basically under the panels. So if they fill up, you have like wires and connectors flooded and associated problems. And he said that they would be above it, but if you look at the plan, so you have a basin, they have typically 3-to-1 slopes coming up like this to the edge of the berm, and he's got panels coming up. So it seems like it might make more sense to kind of just make it a little higher, but, so they're gonna deal with that. He said they're above the water, so it's not an issue, and he'll address it.
So the electrical connectors are actually not at the ground level?
Right, so they hang, so the panels are sort of on posts like this, right?
Right.
And so if they're this big, whatever they are, in the middle part is where they run the wires.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, so if it's 3 feet to 8 feet or whatever it is, you're halfway.
And the estimated level of the maximum that the basin can fill up is
3 feet.
3 feet or so?
But the bottom is right about 3 feet.
Yeah.
So it's, they'll have to tweak it. There were a bunch of little issues in the stormwater analysis that I picked up on. The first one was they gotta correct the detail on all the outlets so they're labeled and somebody knows how to build it. I mean, my experience with these little things is,
Over here?
here, I can stop. I was doing your job for you, go ahead.
So now we can open it up again. So we have a notice of intent for file 250-1037, Next Grid Redwood LLC, 54 Plain Street. Continuing from the October 28th meeting. Proposed plan to install a ground-mounted solar array, driveway, stormwater utilities within 100 feet in the Canoe River area of critical environmental concern. Hi.
Good evening. Sorry, keep you waiting. My name is Chris King with Atlantic Design Engineers on behalf of Next Grid here for the 54 Plain Street Solar Project. The last time we were here before you, as it relates to the review of the project, we had just submitted a set of revised plans to both the Commission and Mr. Chesia. He had a chance to review those. We received a response letter last week. I took the opportunity to go through the response letter and make some plan changes that were limited to, I know John was just speaking to some of them, but just to briefly recap, the changes were limited to providing some additional detail at each of the outlet pipe locations, correlating on the detail sheet. We have a table for each outlet pipe end, and depending on the pipe size, the resulting geometry and size of the stone, the riprap at each outlet. And to make it easy for the contractor and for correlation, we had gone and numbered those on the plan view and then made the corresponding changes on the detail sheet. Really the only other plan change, if you will, was in regards to the site is basically set up where we have a gravel road that rings the entire site and catches the stormwater and sends it back in. Two of our detention ponds are framed by this road, and so at each pond we obviously have the stormwater controls, the pipes themselves, But as required, we've provided an emergency spillway to direct flows in the event the outlet becomes clogged or you experience an anomaly like a back-to-back 100-year storm. And so the emergency spillways right now, the gravel road drives over them, which is allowed as long as they're properly designed. So in speaking with John, I've added some additional notes to the detail sheet and also on the plan view indicating in those areas that we basically provide a compacted level area of riprap with a minimum size is 2 feet, set level and compacted with 3/4 inch stone to infill it to create a more drivable and stable surface for the maintenance vehicles, which once construction is completed, the frequency is maybe quarterly going across those for inspections of the stormwater maintenance that's required. So as far as plan changes go, I believe that addresses the outstanding items, which are really detail orientated. There are also some stormwater calculations that we've gone over. I've gone over with John over the phone. I've identified a couple small errors as far as some areas being incorporated in one area of the model and being a little bit different in another. I've gone through those changes and I had a little bit of, I was hoping to bring those with me this evening. It's basically a stormwater addendum with a final set of calculations that provides demonstration that we meet all of the standards, not only from the stormwater policy, but also the local stormwater bylaw as well. And then I know one of the things we were tasked with was just to make sure we're not creating an issue downstream because we are increasing volume. And so again, that is included in the stormwater addendum. And with the changes that we discussed, it does not result in an instance where it would create a downstream issue. I have, I have with me this evening copies of the revised plans which pick up the changes that I've just discussed. If I could officially submit those, I have 2 copies for the town. I have one as well for you, John, and I have a third if it's of use. In case anyone has any questions, I have a reduced size of really the 2 plan sheets that have changed, showing again, the correlation on the outlet pipes with the revised detail sheet, as well as the note as far as requiring kind of the different treatment where the gravel access road crosses the emergency spillway. Another one of the comments was in regards to the SWIP. So again, I have since it was a while ago, but we originally submitted a SWIP, which followed our company standard, if you will. It was requested that we provide it in the EPA format, which we did. John had some additional comments regarding that, just requesting some additional detail, and asked that a revised SWIP be provided prior to the close of the public hearing. So again, I have the draft updated copy. And an additional comment was that it be finalized prior to the start of construction. Obviously, they're anxious to get started out there, and so that will be finalized, very quickly. It's pretty much finalized now. They're in the process of filing for the ENOI through the EPA for the construction general permit.
It's a 14-day waiting period too after that.
Correct,
so,
yeah. So we're starting that now with the idea that it'll run concurrently, hopefully with an appeal process. And so that is one of the appendices indicated in the SWIP before you. Understanding that process it will be provided in the final SWIP, if you will. It'll be kept on site by the contractor.
Okay.
Similarly, if there are any changes or any additional detail, all of that can be incorporated into the final version, which again is required to be kept on site by the contractor. So, I understand I'm submitting plans this evening. I can point out, if you like, that where it has changed to add the additional detail. From a design standpoint, a setback from the resource areas, nothing has changed since the last submittal. And even with some of the small adjustments to the stormwater addendum, which again, I apologize, I wasn't able to bring with me this evening, but I'm able to submit that within the next couple of days, certainly. It won't change anything that you see before you. It would just be the revised and corrected stormwater addendum. I think we're on number 4 now, just to document compliance.
That's a separate stormwater sheet that she asked for? Is that what you mean by the stormwater addendum?
No, it would look like it's a pretty big document. This is the last one that we had submitted. So the new one will have just a summary up front with any of the revised tables.
Okay.
With any of the differences based on some of the adjustments. It'll have a new set of calculations for both on-site and off-site, and then just another set of watershed drawings as well.
Okay.
The stormwater report does, as one of the appendices, includes a stormwater operation and maintenance plan. And it was recommended that that be required as a condition of approval as a standalone document. So if the commission, requires it, we could certainly submit it as a standalone document that can be referenced in the order itself.
Do you wanna-
Sure, I think, what I had talked to Jennifer about, and I think, is that there's some things in here that I recommended be conditions, and I think you could close the hearing and with her help write the conditions and issue them at the next
Okay.
time. I think it's that type of close, and if some of these get knocked off of a condition list because it's been provided, that would
Right.
just make it easier.
Sure.
So, you could have a condition that the final calcs be submitted and checked, or if it's done and checked
Right.
before you have to write it,
Right, we
it
can
gets
close
off
and
the
do that
list.
after.
But either
Right.
way, it still could be
Okay.
part of the deal. So it's basically very close. I don't think there's gonna be any offsite impacts. I checked that part. There were a couple little tweaks on that. Mostly, other than that, it was details, conditions, there's some testing, the stormwater pollution prevention plan, and I think there was one other, which I don't
What
remember.
about wildlife access and ability to cross the site? I know that was a concern of hers.
The fences have like a gap under them, but I think what was done is if you look at the plan, I'm going to use your plan just to show. So there is a lot of, the deer out there, it's like a bedding area. The number is amazing, but I
Yeah.
believe what was done is this corridor was maintained.
Okay.
It's not obviously this corridor.
Right.
But there is a corridor.
Sure.
That's along this side that was maintained, because this is a pretty large area here. And I
Right.
believe if you go that way, there's another large area, so
Okay.
that does give the linkage. I know she had talked about that, so this was kind of pulled back in some locations
Okay.
for that reason. Little stuff can get underneath. I believe the proposed vegetation is sort of a mixed, it's not grass, it's like a mixed flowers and
It's like a pollinator mix.
Pollinator mix.
Okay.
Pollinator-friendly mix.
Sure.
A lot of clover species. The area that John was just referencing was along this edge here. Jennifer had asked previously, we had pushed it a little bit closer to the property line, so she had asked that we just maintain a corridor along this edge.
Okay. Is there any other issues you think, or?
I think that if you close it with Jennifer's help, you'll get it.
We can condition the rest.
Hopefully she'll be feeling better by
Sure.
then. And you'll have like a list of conditions, so
Sure.
you can just vote next time, and if she has questions, we can talk through it too, and I can look and see if any of them get knocked off the list. I know the soil testing, the SWIP, which is here, and I think there was another one off the top of my head, I can't remember what that was. You had sent me an email, actually, that's not what it was, you might remember.
Soil testing, excuse me, the SWIP, and I think it was whether or not the stormwater operation and maintenance plan would be a standalone.
Separate, yeah.
Standalone item. But we're amenable to the conditions that were discussed or proposed within the latest review letter. So.
Okay. Did you have any questions, Ron?
Oh,
Julian?
I won't say.
Dan?
no.
Jean?
No.
Dan? Are you amenable to closing now and then conditioning, or do you want to keep it open and talk about it when she gets back?
No, I mean, I think that we're amenable to all of the conditions. I don't know that it, I don't know that it would expedite anything, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we were to close tonight, I'm not expecting, butters or any kind of new information.
Right, just the appeal process, yeah.
So, I would defer to, if that's, I'm not opposed to it.
Okay.
If there's any way that it would help expedite it, I don't know if that puts us in a better position, if you will, to have conditions almost ready.
It just means that we won't be able to introduce new information. So if everything is okay on both sides and we're just going to condition the areas where we're still not quite there yet, then we could close now. If you think that you want to explain stuff better at another meeting, because Jen might have a question about something, then we should keep it open. But it's up to you with your schedule and everything. I don't know. I mean, if John's right, and there's no reason to think he wouldn't be, that she'd probably be fine with whatever you've already submitted. We just need to hash out the conditions later.
One of them probably would be, complete review of this, because I don't know if that's going to happen between here and the next meeting, and that's something Jennifer looks at as well, typically. So the other ones I don't think are an issue. The soil testing one, that's going to happen. It's been tested extensively, just not directly under the system that's proposed. And there's a pretty good handle on what soils are like out there, I think, based on, because I was out there watching all those holes. There is some variability, but we pretty much know what it looks like.
It's up to you. You got to travel to get here, right?
Yeah, I would come anyways at the next hearing, just in case there are any questions.
Sure.
So, again, it's more of a function of, obviously, gung-ho to start construction.
Sure.
So if you feel that, or if that helps, put us in a better position to kind of be final.
That would be faster, right? Because of the appeal process.
If you close, you get 21 days to issue the order. So as long as that doesn't pinch the commission on your dates.
Well, we'll be here in 2 weeks.
We have a 2-week meeting.
So
you'd be okay on that end. So otherwise, I think that's, I had discussed it with Jen. I think that was how she was looking at it. But I think it doesn't, if the next hearing you closed with the conditions, it's probably no different than closing and issuing them.
And signing them at the meeting.
Right. As long as you close and have the conditions for the next meeting, it's no different. If you didn't have the commission.
We assume that Jen will get healthy before.
Yeah.
So the appeal period doesn't start until the
we close.
When you close.
When we close, yeah.
The appeal, when you close, you have 21 days to write the conditions. So you'd potentially.
But then the appeal period starts when they get issued.
Right.
Okay. So it wouldn't really matter.
So
how about if we just continue? We've killed this one. We've killed it.
Yeah. I was almost leaning to let's close it, and at least we're one step closer. I don't see anything.
Exactly.
So I'm.
That's probably better as far as, that way we can change anything if we need to, and once it's closed, so you can't go back at that point, so.
I move the notice of intent hearing for 250-1037 be continued until our next meeting at 10:02.
12:02. Julie makes a motion to continue the public hearing to the December 2nd meeting, seconded by Jean. Dan Pearson, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you for coming out. Take care. Thanks, John. Appreciate your help. All right. I don't know if we can address the retaining wall issue because
This seems like an awfully quick meeting for you guys.
it really is.
I've looked at the agenda, it's like,
It's my kind of
until
meeting.
midnight.
Yeah, you know. See you, John.
So probably can consider these minutes.
Well, what do you want to do about this discussion? We can't discuss it if we don't know anything about the retaining wall, so
So
just continue it to the, just table it to the next meeting. Do we need a motion for that, or? It's not a hearing, it's a discussion, so let's just table it.
I move we table the discussion with regard to
Okay.
file number 250-1018. retaining wall.
Second.
Julie makes a motion to table the discussion on the amendment to DEP 250-1018, seconded by Dan Pearson. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, Melissa. We have minutes, yep.
1028.
Comments, questions, grammatical adjustments, Dan?
I will reserve my humble stylistic comments
All right,
for
all right then.
I reviewed lengthy for 1028, no comments.
Okay. Motion to accept.
I so move.
Second.
Julie makes a motion to accept the draft minutes from the October 28, 2019 meeting, seconded by Ron. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, review draft minutes for the November 4th, 2019 meeting.
Same comment.
Second.
And I'll second.
Julian makes a motion to accept the draft minutes for the November 4th, 2019 meeting, seconded by Ron. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
11-7.
11-7.
I did not attend.
I attended, and I'm listed as absent.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Probably used to me being absent for the past
I
month.
just get caught.
I
So you
didn't
did
Melissa
that.
just got a fat contract as she was done paying attention to the minutes, so.
That was a test.
I didn't attend, and I was listed as attending, and Scott did attend, and he was
We have to
listed
check that.
as
Wow, we have to check that
not
out.
attending.
Yeah. No, I was not at the
No, you were here. It was
You-
the
11-7?
The Thursday
It
meeting.
was the Thursday meeting.
That was the one about Dean Street, I think.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Yeah,
That's right.
so somehow I
Right.
think things just got accidentally.
From November 4th, remember that? We'll
Yeah.
check that, yes.
Yeah.
So that just
So,
needs to be
We
revised.
just need that
Okay.
revised.
Let's revise-
Everything
let's
else look okay,
revise that.
Dan?
Yep, everything else.
So, motion to accept the minutes?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for November 7th meeting.
second.
Dan Doyle makes a motion to accept the minutes from the November 7th, 2019 meeting as amended, seconded by Jean. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
I'll actually
Okay.
vote aye, even though I wasn't there, but
Well, you're already an aye. You can do that now. That's allowed.
apparently I can do that.
Yep, that
So
changes
it
everything.
looked Like, you know, were they pleading total ignorance? They thought it was all just conservation. They didn't really understand that there is a law involved? The Wetland Protection Act?
Oh, is this the one with Mr. Marini?
No, it was,
No, the resident of Dean Street with the violation.
No, they were concerned because they didn't know what kind of fines, fees, extra work they would have to do. They didn't even know that they were really around the wetlands until somebody told them. The previous owner basically ignored the wetlands around them and just dumped trash and garbage everywhere in there. So he wanted to remediate his flooded driveway. It was getting flooded off of Dean Street.
yeah, I saw that on.
And it was starting to crack and stuff, so we tried to put soil under to underpin it, but basically that soil was just gonna wash away. So we suggested that he put larger, like riprap or some kind of larger stones in there to support it, because the soil is just washing away.
So they're gonna bring something.
They're gonna come in with a plan and, yeah, oh, that's right, they're coming with an as-built. They're gonna get a surveyor out there and they're gonna come with an as-built for what they wanted to do and what's there now.
So it got kind of.
But they're not gonna do anything till the spring, right?
Correct.
Yeah, they were gonna push it off for the winter. So, I think before the spring, he was gonna get the surveyor in there. He was gonna get some quotes for that. So, that was pretty much the gist of it, right?
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't make that.
It's okay.
I was taken by everything.
It's okay. All right, we have new business. Did we talk with everybody about the remote participation policy and how we felt about it?
Some memo from Mike there about that, if you want to take a look at it.
Sure.
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I thought there was an email that said we had already discussed it.
We discussed it, but apparently we have to
We
vote.
discussed it, but apparently we need a confirmatory vote, I mean, the issue is, it's just not feasible.
There's a policy if you want to read it, but, I mean, if you guys want to discuss and have opinions, I am against it personally.
I don't really have any strong opinions, but one thing that I thought was sort of deficient in the language was the technology.
Yeah.
I don't know what the technology is. Would we use Skype? Would we use?
It'd have to be a
I don't
proprietary
even know if Skype exists
Norton
anymore.
town.
Well, I can tell you my experience with an effort to use, there are a variety of methods. You can have just a simple phone microphone in which everybody in the room can be heard, and then when you want to participate remotely, you try to get recognized by the chair, and then you put forth your question. So it is possible. It's just if you are remote, it's such a cacophony that comes through the microphone that you can't, and then if there's something that
You don't see anything.
you need to respond to, getting your word in edgewise is almost impossible. So
Right.
it's just a very, first unsatisfying, and second, I think unsatisfactory method of participating. Then the other version, if you get high-tech, if you have computers, there are computer platforms where you can see the participant through their computer.
Have you been to our meetings?
Yeah, well, we have them at work.
We have
People-
paper with the guy sitting in front of an easel.
But, so it can become quite complex.
Yeah.
But the issue is, for this venue, I think it's not really appropriate or ideal. I
And then-
mean, I think you need to have audience participation. I mean, I have a friend who works at a corporation where he communicates with his boss who's on Maui, and he's in training.
But there's definitely ways to do it.
Yeah, and it works well on a one-on-one.
Right.
But I don't think this particular small
Right.
town meeting venue it would work.
And then the question is, how many of you guys, when you're away and you can't come to a meeting, are really in a position where you can remotely sit in and join the meeting? I mean, I know when I miss a meeting, it's because I don't have time to be at a conservation meeting. I have something else going on. So whether I was here or not, I wouldn't be able to participate. I don't know about you guys, but.
Yeah, when I was in Columbia, I wasn't able to participate.
On a mountaintop, you could radio in.
Well, there are people
Yeah.
who go on hikes on Mount Kilimanjaro and still maintain
Yeah.
their electronic equipment so that they can talk to their office.
Yeah.
I think it's a bizarre mental state to do that, but,
Yeah.
so I just don't think remote participation would work well for us.
So do we want to vote?
I think you might have to vote in.
Yeah, I think we do.
Signatures, yeah.
Thank you.
So a motion has to be in a positive, so I would welcome someone to
Well, I'll
move that we
propose that
accept
we-
the policy and then see how it gets voted on. Because you have to move in the positive.
Doesn't that say voted not to allow?
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry, we have to do a vote. Everyone has to have a vote. So Ron, how do you vote?
Negative.
Julian, how do you vote?
What is the phrase that we're voting on?
To allow remote participation at our meetings.
I am going to vote no.
Dan, how do you vote to allow remote participation?
Abstain.
Okay, Dan's an abstain.
No.
Gene, how do you vote?
No.
And Dan, how do you vote?
No.
Okay, majority is no.
At this time,
At this time, correct. So the
I mean, when they
conservation.
make all of us cyborgs.
Why are there two separate lines here, Melissa?
I just read, well, that says voted to allow,
Yeah,
this says
they-
voted not. And I think it is,
Oh,
I'm
that's
just
right.
reading it like with you.
Okay.
The first time, I
I
just
should probably
happened
read
to-
that first, huh?
When I saw remote policy, I remembered seeing a memo.
Conservation Board.
have whiteout I can use too.
Conservation vote not to. So do I fill in the number of people that voted?
We have 4 that voted positive.
Nobody voted positive, right?
Well, to vote no, and were you included in that vote, actually?
Yes, I voted no as well. So we had 5 no's
And 1
and 1 abstain. 5. This is going to need to be fixed, I'm sure.
No, but he's including himself.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure we have to fix this later. You sign that? Because I don't know if I'm supposed to write in
All right, I
Dan's
just figured,
abstaining somewhere below or
I just
something.
figured, well, everybody was here and could sign.
Yeah,
Well, if it's, I mean, I'm not, don't have a, as I said, don't have a strong opinion, so if it makes it easier, just,
It doesn't matter, because we don't have the technology to do it. And if that changes, fine.
right.
so do I not sign something then?
Yeah, we'll say 5 people from the board voted against it, and we'll just say you didn't vote at all, which is the same as abstaining, so. And you just won't sign. And we get a quorum anyway, so we should be fine. All right. Then we need to talk about the lease, but we already talked about that and determined that the Lions Fields Dean Street lease would put off till the following meeting on December 2nd, so leave that alone for now. Site inspections, violations, did she give any notes or anything? Or?
Nothing you want, anything, no?
Okay. Reservoir update, Charlie Pond update, Water Body Committee update. Oh, that's what I wanted to ask. So apparently when the Water Body Committee was formed, they were supposed to have a conservation person that attended their meetings, kind of weighed in on what they were doing. Does anybody have time to consider that?
They usually meet on Monday nights.
Oh, they do? That's a problem. Same time as our meetings?
On our second meeting of the month.
I know when they first were formed, like 3 years ago, we occasionally had somebody attend a meeting. I remember going to one, but I guess we were supposed to continue doing that, and we haven't been there in several years, so if anyone has time to go down there, maybe it'd be a good idea to at least visit once every month or 2, or, at least let them know that we're still thinking about them. So maybe I'll have Jennifer discuss with them and get their schedule, and maybe we can arrange to get somebody down there.
Nominate Lisa.
I think we should nominate Lisa. I agree. Alrighty then. Anyone else have anything they need to add?
Well, I just noted that Blue Star, they sent out Conduct sent out an invitation.
Yes, I saw that groundbreaking ceremony in December.
December 11th, I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is, they're
Yeah.
in town. So
It's not going away. Yeah,
I was considering going just to,
it's quite a project. I mean,
so anybody else considering going?
Yes.
It's December 11th.
what day is that?
Which I think it's a Wednesday.
Okay.
I just happened to have that day off, and hopefully my schedule won't get overrun by something else, but I was just gonna go say hi.
Yeah, sure.
I was
And-
thinking of it too. I don't know if you've been down Leonard Street.
Oh, I live right down the road from there. The
Okay.
soil pile that they have already formed is huge. Just from doing the superficial grading, I imagine. It's crazy.
So are they putting in utilities right now, or?
They are working on Leonard Street doing utility work, but they're also grading the entire a big portion of Building 5 area, and they have like a 5,000 yard stockpile already formed of just the loom and everything. They graded off the top, so
It looks like they're getting close to knocking the building.
probably have 6 machines out there. Looks like from what I saw. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
lot going on.
Lot of equipment.
Yeah.
I know the road contractor uses us for some of his
Oh, really?
signs and then
Okay.
the flashing signs
Yep.
too. But-
Okay. Yeah, they closed Leonard Street through traffic. Only residents allowed to go through there now. So,
Yep.
yeah, they're obviously busy out there.
All right.
Okay, that's all we got. Any motions to,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Dan, please, what would you like to add?
Second. Motion to adjourn. I was just going to say that I wish Condyne well. I wish them well. But were I to go to their groundbreaking, I would go as a protester.
Well, it's not gonna go away.
I know that.
It's
Yeah.
a larger context.
You pulling this, Jamie? You pulling this?
It's,
Doesn't cost too much.
the concept